Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. So it is breaking. Cramer has predicted a Bitcoin crash, guys. And remember what happens when Jim Cramer predicts something. Anders retweeting out DGen News' tweet. Jim Cramer predicts that Mr. Bitcoin is about to go down big.
I just can't get on I can't be in something where Mr. Bitcoin is about to go down big.
He just sounds so serious about it. Mr. Bitcoin's about to go down big. Well, I mean, the inverse Cramer indicator would suggest that because Jim Cramer is in fact saying this, Bitcoin will thrive over the next few months. Well, I mean, it's down a little bit. And, I'm still thinking that Q4 2023 is going to look fairly negative for cryptocurrencies. We've gotten a lot of news coming out. The narrative is negative globally, just for global markets as a whole. But, that's going to affect cryptocurrencies. It doesn't help when they're associating criminals with cryptocurrency, even today in 2023. Now, Bitcoin is down 1.14%. We got Ethereum down about 0.51. We got BNB coin down 0.06. XRP is down 1.8. Certain coins are up, though. I mean, I'm kind of surprised. I thought we would see more red in the space. We've got the market cap down to about 1.06 trillion, so that's down just over 1%. 24-hour volume has stayed relatively stagnant at 0.14%. It's up a little bit, but not by much. Bitcoin dominance at 50.1%. So, guys, this is the sentiment right now. Still a bit of a wait and see period. I'm feeling like at this point in time, the sentiment over here in the fear and greed index is still neutral. So we haven't seen it as low as we have seen it in the past. But, stories like this are certainly not helping matters. Eleanor Turret reporting this. Well, she says this report will do nothing to help crypto's cause in Washington, D.C. and will almost certainly be used by Senator Warren to onboard members of Congress to her anti-crypto crusade. And guys, this has to do with Hamas. Hamas militants behind Israel attack raise millions in cryptocurrency. So this is now what the narrative has become, or where they're trying to, and I mean the powers that be, those who control the media, where they're trying to beat down the narrative. Cryptocurrency fueled Hamas's war machine. Bitcoin and Tether funneled millions of dollars to terror groups. So guys, this was published yesterday. The attacks launched by Hamas against Israel leveraged modern technology, rockets, drones, and paragliders, not to mention mobile phone cameras and internet connections to broadcast their cameras to the world. Where did the money for all this come from? In part, cryptocurrency. Dun, dun, dun. There's the culprit right there. Cryptocurrency, of course, I'm being facetious. Decentralized finance has always been pitched as a way to avoid the difficulties of the regulated global financial system, and crypto has long been used to fuel black markets. So, here we go again. When we see this narrative crop up, it's usually because they want the market to plummet even more. And guys, this is why we're seeing XRP price go down even further. So XRP, one of the hardest hit here. Right now, we've got XRP trading at about 48.8. So down a little bit since yesterday. You guys can see these wicks down. XRP testing support down here. And, I have a feeling, although we were seeing initially this trend maintain here, this bullish trend upwards maintain. I mean, I'm thinking we're getting closer and closer to this trend line, guys, and we're not making any new highs here. If you can see, we're still making lower highs here. So, I mean, I'm thinking we're going to see the trend continue downward. Bitcoin, let me bring up Bitcoin real quickly here. Bitcoin isn't as affected, at least not technically. Although price did go down a little bit for Bitcoin yesterday, $27,200 per coin. You guys can see there it did wick down too. So, narrative, I don't think narrative's going to be looking good for the next few months. This is why I'm keeping cash on the side. And for my patrons, patreon.com/workingmoney channel. I'm thinking probably today, if I can find some time, guys, I'm going to do the second part of the crypto portfolio roundup. I know I gave part 1 last week. And so for those of you guys following my trading journey, I'm going to be giving you guys more details, more portfolio details in part 2 of the roundup. And for those still not following and interested in following me on Patreon, it is only $5 a month, and it is at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. I'm going to keep moving, guys, because the narrative is really what's playing a huge part in, I think, how this market is going. At least on the surface, okay, Caroline Ellis had her day in court yesterday, and apparently she stated Sam Bankman-Fried thought he had a 5% chance at becoming president one day. So this is one of the biggest revelations from yesterday's hearing. Sam Bankman-Fried thought he had a 5% chance of becoming president, says ex-girlfriend. Disgraced crypto executive Sam Bankman-Fried thought there was about a 5% chance he would become president. Caroline Ellison, and I'm sure you guys probably know the story by now, his ex-girlfriend, who also worked with him, one of the government's star witnesses, said she and the 31-year-old Bankman-Fried started sleeping together on and off in 2018 and dated in subsequent years. During their relationship, Ellison said Bankman-Fried would describe his business and political ambitions. Ellison also testified she committed crimes with Bankman-Fried. She pleaded guilty and is testifying pursuant to a cooperation agreement with federal prosecutors in New York who have accused him, among other things, illegally using FTS, consumer and investor money, to cover speculative investments by his privately controlled hedge fund Alameda Research. And recently, I think it was on Netflix, was it? It was a pretty good documentary outlining the Sam Bankman-Fried story up until this point. And I don't remember if I saw it on Netflix or Tubi. It was one of those. Anyway, bringing this story back in the news is also contributing, guys, to this negative news cycle regarding cryptocurrency. Of course, it's going to remind the public that crypto bad, do not invest. The market will be depressed. I have a feeling over the next quarter, guys, they do not want us to accumulate. And so this is why we decide to accumulate, right? Accumulate when there is blood in the streets, when there is fear. And the fear and greed index, actually not that low. I believe it was probably lower back in December of 2022. Nevertheless, guys, this is probably going to be the second best time to accumulate cryptocurrencies for this coming bull run. 2024-25 are looking poised for an extreme blast off. Let's not forget, Bitcoin halving is happening April 2024. So if we just plot that roughly here on the chart, that's only here. So, even if we see a little bit of down before we see some up by April of 2024, guys, this will be the launch off point before we do see the bulls really take off. So keep that in mind. Wanted to thank CoffeeZilla here for posting that, and Eleanor Turd, of course. Megan here on Twitter also mentioning this, guys, a new video. Stuart Alderati from Ripple discussing the Ripple verdict, what there's left to do, but he's not very optimistic about the conditions in the US, at least not as of right this second. Listen to this.
The U.S., unfortunately, we have lost our way. And we've lost our way because we have politics and power being elevated over sound policy, meaning we have certain agencies who are fighting over who is going to get to control, from a regulatory perspective, the technology, rather than satisfy what is the right policy outcome, which I think the licensing framework that we see in it and the Monetary Authority of Singapore pursuing a proper policy outcome through a licensing framework. So right now, unfortunately, in the U.S., the issue of how to label a digital payment token properly, whether you label it as a utility token, a payment token, a security token, that's not left to a regulator and a rational regulatory framework. It's that issue is now being fought in the courts. And Ripple has been on the forefront of that fight with the Securities and Exchange Commission here in the U.S. We have been defending the issue of whether XRP, again, the digital token that we use in our tech stack to enable our customers to benefit from our products, whether that should be classified as a security or it should be classified as a commodity or a virtual currency. We won that issue. We won that issue on July 13th. So hence the sticker XRP as security, which I think gives XRP clarity in the U.S., and XRP as a digital token is now uniquely classified as a non-security in the U.S. But we don't think, even though we won in the courts, we don't think that these issues should be fought token by token, case by case, judge by judge. We think we need a rational regulatory framework. But to your question, although we have some policymakers in the U.S. trying to take the lead to come up with rational regulatory policy proposals, the chances of anything moving forward in this Congress or the next Congress doesn't seem good. I'm not very optimistic about it.
So he's saying essentially, there's still a lot of work left to do. And, that is positive for us because that means this crypto bull run, this spec run will be very, very similar to other spec runs without regulatory clarity. The good news for us, good news for us is that XRP at least has clarity. So those on-ramps for XRP are going to hopefully bring the price up higher than where we saw it go here when there were no on-ramps and off-ramps in the United States when they were all closed. I mean, we did actually see XRP get up to almost $2 even without those on-ramps and off-ramps. And you got to think how high XRP did go back in 2018, $3 and change. That was all-time high for XRP. But you got to also remember at this point in time, many cryptocurrency exchanges were not offering XRP. So in some ways, and I don't know what that ratio is, 2021, I guess, was similar to 2018 in that there wasn't as much availability for XRP to be traded on the market. So it really is a big question as to where XRP will go this time around. It does have clarity now in the United States, which is the biggest cryptocurrency trading market on planet Earth. So guys, that is going to, I think, bode well for price this coming bull run. The other thing I wanted to mention, guys, was this, an interview with Eric Van Miltenberg. Now, he is an employee of Ripple, Chief Business Officer at Ripple. Additionally, Eric Van Miltenberg has had 3 past jobs, including SVP of Global Operations at Ripple, Ripple Chief Business Officer from October of 2020. So he was also interviewed here, guys, by CoinDesk regarding the Singapore license formally approved, so that was a big piece of news recently. Judge dismisses the SEC's attempt to appeal the ruling. Also, we got news the other day, CFO Christina Campbell just stepped down, the state of crypto regulation, and UBRI, the future of blockchain. Guys, this is an 8-minute interview, but I just wanted to play you guys a short clip here. I will link this in the description of the video for you if you're interested in watching the full thing. Listen to this.
It's a welcome change to be, talking to Ripple about developments beyond the sort of ever long running, SEC lawsuit. Let me just ask you though, has that and how long it dragged on for, perhaps the uncertainty associated with that, how has it affected your capacity to get licenses outside of the United States, such as in Singapore and elsewhere and other places? And what is the outlook for that now that it seems like there's been some rulings in your favor?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that the judge several months ago ruled that, in fact, XRP in and of itself is not a security, helped to create a little bit of clarity. I think there's still a long way to go in the U.S. in terms of providing regulatory clarity. But frankly, Ripple's business has been thriving regardless. In some ways, we've been operating even as if we lost the suit, which of course we didn't. And outside of the U.S., in regions like Asia Pacific, in the Middle East, in the EU, in the UK, we continue to press our advantage and move forward with our services. So we're seeing great growth. We're seeing adoption by financial institutions and corporations alike. So I think this is the milestone in Singapore is a great move forward. The more clarity we get with the case, that certainly helps, provides a little bit of tailwind. So we're excited. We're in a great position, and we're looking forward to the future.
So notice what he says here. I mean, the case is still ongoing, and but every little bit helps Ripple's business model. The tailwinds are helping every little part that they win in the case does definitely help their business relationships globally. So, the Singapore license, definitely a very good step for Ripple. That does set a precedent probably for other countries too, where they're looking at, okay, who else is regulating XRP? Who else is regulating Ripple? Well, Singapore has approved, formally approved a money license. So guys, this is all looking very, very positive. Eric Van Miltenberg does seem very optimistic about Ripple's future. And I think, even though the sentiment is low in the community, and it happens, I mean, generally around this point in time, where, people on Twitter are trying to sabotage influencers, whether it's on YouTube or Twitter or wherever. I'm really surprised Digital Asset Investors account still has not been reinstated. I do think it was sabotaged, though. There are a few bad actors in the space. They have been reported accordingly. But anyway, don't want to get into that too much. Ultimately, though, sentiment is down. XRP price, at least according to the XRP community, should have been higher than 48 cents today. But guys, really, it's about the narrative. Really, we should not be focusing. We should not be perseverating on low prices. We should be taking this opportunity to buy more cryptocurrencies, to cost average down into more XRP or whatever it ends up being. My portfolio is going to end up being probably the largest in terms of variety for cryptocurrencies ever. I really wish I had done this last time to cash out for more profits. Since I was holding all my XRP last bull run, did not cash out of any of it. And since XRP was my largest position, now my XRP position has not changed. But this diversification, guys, is to garner more profits down the road. So again, $5 a month. I think it's pretty good value. If you guys are interested, Of course, XRP, Liquidity. This is going to be key for cross-border payments. I thought I'd bring you guys this older interview clip, and I know I've showed this on the channel in the past, but just to reiterate again, Bank for International Settlements discussing how a third-party currency with sufficient liquidity is needed for cross-border payments. Can you spell it out any clearer than this guy's XRP, XLM? As just two of those examples, listen to this.
With all that in mind, how do we deal with this issue of exchange rates and interoperability? How do we get these digital currencies to really just talk to each other?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think when we talk about interoperability, we can see it at least in three different levels. So the first level is how we manage domestic interoperability. So how we generate this digital currency solution and make this speak with the other things that are out there in a little bit in the idea of generating a platform so that everyone can connect to that platform and take advantage of the huge network externalities that we can get out of there. The second level is how do we manage cross-border transactions, even within the same currency, and that presents a certain level of challenges there. But when we talk about cross-currency and cross-border, then we face a completely difficult and different environment, and we can see three dimensions here. One is the technical dimension, so how we manage to get a system that speaks in a certain cryptographic language to speak with another that speaks another slightly different language. So that is one level of complexity. We need to get the technologies to speak to each other. The messaging element is fundamental. The second dimension, which is much more complicated to solve, so that one, the first one was the easy one, okay? And there is a lot of money that is being put in terms of trying to solve these technical issues of interoperability. Now, the second one is more complicated. It has to do with liquidity. So imagine that you have a pair of currencies for which there is not a complementary demand. You need to go and search for a third-party currency in order to make this settlement actually happen. And this really complicates things. So we need to put pieces of technology that can make more efficiency this use of liquidity so that more transactions can be settled. The third dimension, which is even more difficult than the previous one, is how do we manage to get homogeneity in terms of the policy requirements on different countries. And this becomes even more complicated when we think about, for example, AML-CFT.
Okay, I'm going to stop the clip there. I will link it in the description. There's a little bit more to it. But I really wanted to touch on his second point, guys, and the technology that can pair two different currencies, but you need that third currency, namely a cryptocurrency that is liquid to facilitate those transactions. Well, he's basically spelled it out here. XRP, XLM, those are going to be the cryptos that solve for this problem. And again, guys, this was a clip from the Bank for International Settlements, courtesy of ISO 20022. Let's do it here on Twitter. So wanted to thank him for posting that. And guys, this one too from Michael Branch. Van Eck has advised RIAs on token security, citing XRP victory in Ripple's case versus the SEC. So this is big because Van Eck, a huge investment broker, Van Eck advises IRAs on handling token security. Okay, and they've specifically outlined the SEC versus Ripple case as an indication, a green light to help foster this change. In a recent publication, the prominent U.S. asset manager Van Eck offered insights into registered investment advisors, or RIAs, regarding the regulatory status of tokens within the crypto market, particularly citing the SEC versus Ripple case. And so this was originally brought to us by the Wrath of Kahneman here. He brought up the business report here, guys, from October 2023. So just this month, crypto FAQs for RIAs, guys, directly from Van Eck. And Matthew Bartlett is the head of the NFT community in Web3. He gave the answers here. The future of finance, RIAs, burning questions for crypto. And it is because, investors are still kind of confused. Guys at these asset management firms, they're just learning about all this because the precedent-setting results are coming out in real time. Amid an unprecedented wealth transfer, young investors are embracing cryptocurrencies while advisors grapple with the unknown. So this is exactly the landscape that we're finding ourselves in. As an RIA, your expertise in portfolio construction, risk understanding, and client alignment holds immense value. RIAs may now extend this value to include the world of crypto, ensuring that your clients' financial journeys remain seamless and comprehensive in an evolving landscape. For these reasons, Van Eck wants you to be in the know on the latest questions that are top of mind for RIAs, as well as insights to help our RIA clients grow and better manage their wealth management practice. So this is what they stated here, guys. And basically, from that report, which I will link in the description, all tokens are considered securities. What happens if a token is deemed a security? Well, as documented in the Ripple Labs versus SEC summary judgment filed On July 13th, 2023, programmatic secondary sales of tokens are not considered to be securities. While this case is still in trial, it provides some clarity and a reference to how trading of tokens is blind bid and ask transactions on decentralized exchanges, and protocol is currently perceived by the courts. If a token were to be deemed a security, or for the specific purpose of tokenizing securities, the token would have to be held in qualified custody, subject to securities rules and regulations, and any compliance requirements from the custodian. So, based on the Ripple verdict here, they are using that as a precedent to suggest now that you can custody cryptocurrencies, and if a crypto is considered a security, well, it would have to meet those requirements. Obviously, XRP is not. So this is going to be great. Haven't they missed the important point that there also has to be a lack of direct promotion by the issuer as to any collective gains? This coming from Jimbo here on Twitter. Wrath of Kahneman responding, I imagine that the clientele of most RIAs is only buying from exchanges, so it's reasonable. And Andrew's responding, it is great for exchanges. Johnny here also saying, so pretty much if you buy from a middleman, you're good. Haha, the middlemen weren't going to get pushed out that easy. Well, it is a business, survival of the fittest. I think what we should focus on, though, is that Van Eck, guys, a huge asset management firm, is now pointing to Ripple precedent in order to move forward with crypto investment solutions. So here is just who they are, challenging the mainstream. The world changes too much to leave instruments on autopilot. So it's our goal to rethink your portfolio. They are out-of-the-box thinkers. For nearly 70 years, Van Eck has built forward-looking, intelligent design solutions. And they are targeting mainstream investors, guys, have been for over half a century, providing investors direct access opportunities that will strengthen their portfolios. Intelligently design active and passive approaches, so just some of their strategies here. We think beyond capital markets to identify the trends, including economic, technological, political, and social, that we believe will fuel investable opportunities and inspire our clients to reach their financial goals. Van Eck was one of the first U.S. asset managers to offer investors access to international markets and recognized early the transformative potential of gold investing, emerging markets, and ETFs. Today, our firm's capabilities range from core investment opportunities to more specialized exposure to enhanced portfolio diversification. And I have a feeling now they are focusing on certain cryptos, those that are not going to be deemed securities, looking particularly to the Ripple case, guys. So I'm sure Bitcoin definitely on their list, but now as an altcoin, XRP is most definitely being pushed to their clients by Van Eck. So this is the beginning, institutional inflows into cryptocurrency. The bull run has not commenced yet, so this is still a great time to be getting in and to be able to trade on the right side of this. Remember, guys, we want to trade with the big wigs and we want to sell when there's euphoria in the market. That's just my opinion, though. I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.